crunch, bring it back, single leg swing. Let me teach you how to wrestle. Okay. Let me teach you how to wrestle.
And welcome back to Wrestling Mindset. Today we are here with All-American Mitchell Mesenbrink. Mitchell, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Coming to us from Happy Valley.
Yep.
Awesome. So you just got done with practice. How did that go?
It was great. We had a good match day, and it's always very awesome to be able to look around and see the best people in the world, the best coaches in the world. And a year ago, I was not here. So it's very easy to be grateful for the position that I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely. So now on match day, is it usually just one match that you have or multiple matches, different person each week?
Just depends on what you need. It depends on what you need, really. It's all personally based. I did too.
Yeah. So how do you determine is it you determining what you need, the coaches, or is it a collaborative effort?
The latter. It's a collaborative effort, and just working on, do you think I need more, less, maybe not a match at all? Just kind of looking with your coaches. And like I said, they're the best in the world. So it's like very easy to collaborate with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. So let's take it from the top. When you started, how old were you when you started wrestling?
5. It's been kind of my whole life, just with my dad, coaching Ben and Max at Arrowhead. And that's kind of when I was young and was born. And so ever since then, I've been on a wrestling mat, but I started practicing when I was 5.
All right. And what are your earliest memories with wrestling? Did it start with just wrestling? Was it more gymnastics? Did you play multiple sports? How were you cultivated? Your dad was your coach now growing up from the beginning, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was my dad coaching me, and then very shortly after was Ben too. Obviously with AWA opened in 2011, so I was only 8. So it was a very quick time when both of them were coaching me. I did a little things here and there. I did chess club. I did gymnastics. I did soccer. I did little things, but it's always been primarily wrestling. Honestly, I don't know why. Like, I never felt like my dad was like, go, go, go. Like, I was doing privates in gymnastics before I was doing privates in wrestling, right? But it was always private lessons, that is. But it was never like, oh, I feel forced to wrestle. It was just kind of like always, maybe it was kind of God helping me through that, and just like, this is the path, I guess.
Yeah. So how old were you when you did gymnastics? What age range? And then the other sports? Any idea?
I was probably doing gymnastics when I was really young. Same with soccer. All those were probably around the same time when I started wrestling as well. I did those. I did sports through like 7th grade until it was like, I'm just going to strictly do wrestling. It was always like just strictly wrestling all year round. Always. There was never like, it's funny. People say like, oh, I'm in season, I'm out of season. Like, I've always been in season, pretty much my whole life. So like doing this, right after NCAAs, there's 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks from now, it's going to be Olympic team trials. Like, it's never been, oh man, like I need a huge break. Like, I need months and months off. Like, that's never been it. And if you love wrestling, there will be time when you're like, okay, I just need to like, let's just focus on maybe technical aspects or whatever and not do tons of live. But it's like, whatever it is, I'm always on, because I enjoy it. But in terms of the other sports, maybe 13. And then I was kind of like done with everything other than wrestling.
All right. How do you feel like those other sports helped you? Did that make you more well-rounded, more athletic? What do you think?
Probably quickness from like soccer, bendable and agile from gymnastics. But honestly, some of the most agile and flexible things that I can do, I got from wrestling. I would say I'm pretty flexible. And people would say like, how'd you get there? And I have teammates say that. And it's kind of like I seriously just put myself in those positions in wrestling. And like those came later in like high school and stuff. Cardio, obviously, like there's not really anything that you can throw at me that's going to make me as tired as going in wrestling.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then when you started really, I guess you said four, and then when you started learning moves, what was the approach that was taken with you? Was it learning positions first? Was body awareness? Was it learning moves? How were you formed mentally to approach the sport of wrestling, or did you just kind of gradual?
No, yeah, that's like everything. It's very funny. Like it's very full circle, even though I feel like I could wrestle for the next 20 years. Like it is very full circle to this point right now in time because um, when I didn't start competing until I was 8. So we had 3 years of just drilling and practice and getting better. And I really think that was great. We actually waited longer for my little brother. We waited until like 10 or 11 until he competed. And I think that's really good. I think you see it if you ever go to AWA. Ben and my dad both preach that, and that we're trying to make these guys better wrestlers. And I think I see that I saw that in my trajectory that when things finally like clicked, it wasn't like, oh, he added tons of stuff to his game. No, like the puzzle was there, and there were many pieces already there. There were just few missing, and it was like click, click. Then it was like go. And I think that's because of all those years of just focusing on the right things. It was like technique, 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 and going out there. And that's been from the start. Like there's only been one match that I lost that my dad was ever like, I don't even want to say mad, but like got on me about. And it was one that I quit. And he was like, dude, I could care less if you win or lose. I want you, when you go out there, whatever it is. Even my mom would say this too, like, in whatever I'm doing, just you gotta go 100%. You gotta go as hard as you can. And like as effort wise, right? Because sometimes maybe going harder isn't smarter. But you gotta effort wise, it's always gotta be there. That's the only thing I want, your performance, right? And that stuck after that because it's like, well, one, you don't want to, as a son and as a kid, you don't want to let down your dad or get in trouble. But it was also like, no, like that's how I want to wrestle, right? Like I don't want that, and so it was never like a fear-based. It was like, no, like this is how I want to go out. And it's funny, like my dad would say like, all right, like let's have some fun, like go throw in some, whenever it was, it'd be like, go throw in some like.
The time is now to take your mindset to the next level with Wrestling Mindset. Make sure you go to our website, wrestlingmindset.com, and sign up for your free trial session today. Don't wait any longer. You want the mental edge right now. When you sign up for the free trial session, you're also going to get a copy of our free ebook, Building the Predator Mindset. This book has helped thousands of people build confidence, relax under pressure, get motivated, and build mental toughness in wrestling, school, and life. Make sure you sign up for your free trial session today.
David Taylor and hit some of this move and this move and this guy and Jason Nolf. And I'm saying all Penn State wrestlers because that's who I loved, right? And so it'd be like throwing some Ed Ruth and then throwing some Zane Train. And this is funny. That's what he would say. And he'd call me like the hybrid because it was like a hybrid of all different athletes. And it'd be really fun. So he was really good at making it fun. Ben was good at making it fun. And that's what was important. And yeah, I kind of went off on there a little bit, but that was really big now that I think you could see, and I see in my performance now, are those things that were lessons in the past decade and a half.
Absolutely. What were the first moves that you remember learning? Maybe that's going back a long ways, but like neutral, top, bottom, or if you were going to give, basically some tips for a young wrestler. I told you before off the camera that my nephews, Anthony and Johnny Zannetti, you're their favorite wrestler. What are some of the things you would recommend to a young kid, 6, 7 years old, neutral, top and bottom, what they should be thinking, what they should be doing?
The reason I've loved wrestling so much is because I enjoyed doing just that. Learning new moves, having fun, because like I said, you can always do that. Like you don't have to be, you can be in season or out of season, you can learn moves. And so I would say do what is exciting and fun. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I need to do a suplex to be exciting. Like you can do things that you like, right? And that's very prevalent in our culture today. Like people are trying to do what other people are going to like. But you're not going to find enjoyment from other people's liking, right? You're going to do it from what you enjoy and what you find excitement in. So I think I used to like blast doubles like crazy. And so that's probably the first move that I remember doing. And I really enjoyed it, just like going out there and just like shooting doubles and having fun. But I still shoot doubles here and there. But honestly, I would say whatever is enjoying, if they find someone who they really, really enjoy. Like I still do this now. I really enjoy watching that guy. And so I'm going to be like, what's their move? Okay, I'm going to copy it. And how versatile that makes you at wrestling. Like I could give you like 10 different shots right now, and I could probably hit it on the left and right. And so that's the fun part. So it's like, oh, I love this high crotch knee pull. So let's do it to both sides, right? I love this outside step. So let's do it to both sides. I love drag. So both sides, so like just doing that. And I think it's enjoyment. You hear saying, enjoy the process, right? Enjoy the journey. And that's truly enjoying the journey and the process of getting better at wrestling.
Yeah. And what would you say? So and then now going with Askren, right? Now when you trained with Keegan O'Toole, that was under your dad, right? Because he brought that up after one of his interviews. Talk about, I guess that growing up, was that separate from Askren's or at the same place?
Same.
Okay.
I think he might have gotten there at like 12 and I might have been 10 or something like that. I remember the exact moment when I heard, Keegan's coming to AWA, and I was like, who's that? And they're like, oh, just some guy from Illinois, and he's coming and he's going to live in Merton, and he'll be here all the time. We weren't even thinking about high school then. Which is funny because a lot of like the middle schoolers are thinking of high school, the high schoolers are thinking of college. We weren't even thinking about that then. We were just thinking about just having someone else in our club. And he was good. And it honestly, until this year, we have never been in the same weight. We've never been in competition with each other. It's always been like friends. So I think we were able to navigate that really well. And you can see maturity from both sides in the responses when people ask us those things. It's just, I think we both have a good grip on what real life is. And that at the end of the day, that wrestling isn't who we are. So I think that kind of speaks volumes to who we both are.
Absolutely. Seeing pictures on your social media at Mass on Easter, that's great. We're Catholic, strong Catholic family, or we try to be anyway. Talk about your faith and how you've developed in your faith over time. Was that always something important to you?
So I went to a Catholic church, a private school. I went to a Catholic church. I am Catholic. I'm confirmed Catholic. Honestly, I didn't truly know and enjoy being Catholic until you get the decision, right? Until it's your decision to be Catholic, until it's my decision to be Catholic. So I didn't fully like, I'm Catholic and I get to choose to go to church until it was like I had some independent, right? Some independent decisions to make. And so I've always, my family, my mom was really in that, and hey, let's go to church, and so we'd all go to church. But like I said, I graduated middle school from a private school and everything. But now, speaking on it now, I'm very happy that I got confirmed, and I'm very happy to be able to belong. Like I said, like you said on my story, like that priest, Father Ken, he's an amazing man, and I have a very the utmost respect, and I view priests as very, very strong men. And the reason is because a few things. One being that I think the vows and the virtues that they have to abide by and indoctrinate, like really feel and hear and act are very, very, I tip my hat to that, because, being a man is not all the time very easy. It's tough, and being an adult man, and it just gives, I have so much respect for those men that were able to do that and go through those times. And then on top of it, one thing that I find very, very cool is, combating the devil. And I think it's very cool that when there's an exorcism that needs to take place, the first person that they're going to call is a Catholic priest. Exactly. And so I find very that strength, and I think that's very cool. And but yeah, I'm very, very grateful for Nick Lee here. Nick Lee and I go to Catholic church on Wednesday mornings, and obviously those other days, but it's the relationships that it blossoms, and the relationships that people come up to me in church and say, things that it's great that you wrestle hard, but that it's even better that you're here. And so I think I take pride in being Catholic and being Christian for that matter, right? I don't think at the end of the day that whatever religion you are, I don't think that's going to judge if you go to heaven or not, or if you get eternal life. But I do think it's on the basis of who you are and how you treat people. And I think the first step of making it to heaven is believing in God. So, just believing and being a good person, man or woman, and making that a sole focus, and that's where your value lies.
Faith is huge, and it puts everything in perspective. That's the key, and that's not why we do it for the natural benefits, but the natural benefits come with it, right? What is it? Matthew 6:33: "Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be given to you." Yeah. So that's absolutely. So then and then talk about how you ended up at Cal Baptist. You were there for a year. And then before Penn State?
Just a semester. So like only a handful of months. Honestly, I've been at Penn State for more than double the time now. And so, yeah, it was a good time. It was a good growth, but it was just the opportunity that presented itself and just what needed to happen, so I appreciated the time and the people that I got to meet there, but I'm happy to be here now.
Yeah, the goal was always to come to Penn State. That was it sounds like you always looked up to those Penn State wrestlers, so seems like the natural fit for you.
Yeah. So like you said, like I always really wanted to come to Penn State, and that was something that was really huge for me. And like you were asking, what's some of the first things that you can like think of when you were wrestling, and it's being at NCAA's and really loving Penn State and wanting to come here.
What are some of maybe the things that surprised you when you came to Penn State? Because there was probably a lot of things you knew going in that met your expectations. But what are some of the things that maybe you felt, hey, this is yet another great thing that I wasn't even thinking about?
That's tough.
Did you know all the coaches coming in? You knew a lot of the guys on the team, or?
Here, I got one. So I knew of a lot of people. Coach Casey and I had taken a couple trips, not together, but obviously on like world teams and Pan Am's teams. I had met him. I think a couple things. One really thing that was, honestly, the phrase that I can use is everything and more, that I thought it was going to be. And I think one is it's about being a good man or woman. And that's the main priority in life and in the room. And then two, I would say, and I think this would surprise other people too, was that people think that you're only going to get help if you're good or if you're a starter. And I think if you know of or if you've met our coaches and the men and women that surround our program and the staff and the people that are in Penn State Wrestling and Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, you would know that that's not the truth, and they will help anybody and everybody that is a part of our team. And so surprising, no, but one of the coolest things, I think so.
What do you think is one of the best things there? I mean, there's probably so many things, but like the most helpful? Is it the techniques, the specific technique? Is it more the play wrestling? Is it more the live? What do you feel like you derive the most benefit from? I'm sure all of it.
Honestly, I think it's the first thing that I said is it's the focus on being a good man. Obviously personally, yeah, it's being a good man. And I think that it's everything that I say. It'd be very hypocritical if I got on here and was a different man, or you hit record and I was a different person. It'd be all very hypocritical. And if the people that I walk past on the sidewalk every single day or in class, if they came up to me and I was a different person, I think it'd be very hypocritical, the things that I say. And those things are obviously where my value are, process over outcome, those things like that is where, yeah, I feel like is the biggest thing that I've taken is just that is it's more not maybe taken, just added on to things is just that value. Where are your values lying? And it's kind of in being a good man, and winning or losing does not, make you a good or bad man.
And it sounds like that's been cultivated through the years from your family, at the Askrens, and then just continued on and was just pushed forward with Penn State Enhanced.
Exactly. And that right there, that makes me even more grateful. On top of all the gratefulness, it makes me even more grateful for Ben and my dad at AWA. And that this is very honest, like if I wasn't wrestling for Penn State, I'd want to wrestle there. And I think at AWA, and I think I could be the best wrestler I could be wrestling around them and being coached by them. And that may be shocking, but I think that just speaks and is a testament to who they are and what they're running there. And it's very mirroring, right? Mirroring of trying to be a good man and being a good wrestler as well.
Yeah, they showed a breakdown. I liked how they had it with the scores. Like if AWA had a team at the NCAAs, that's like top 5 right there.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's cool is that it's not like, yeah, I went to AWA. No, it was like, that is a essential and very strong, profound part of our success and who we are as wrestlers and men, right? Men and women, because now we got a big girls program at AWA as well. So being that's very, we've had a full generation now come through. And so guys that started wrestling and now that are maybe done, right? That went through a whole career of wrestling. And yeah, I think that's really cool to see it's very key to the success.
Awesome. Now, one of the things I think a lot of people like about watching you wrestle, of course, the high pace, the activity, but also that you could kind of see how you're like you almost feel like, hey, you get to know the guy because, you'll clap your hands or even sometimes a smile, even when you're down some points. Talk about that. Is that something that you've planned ahead of time? Like I'm going to have fun with this, or is this something that just kind of naturally goes on as you're competing? Like how much of it is it planned versus spontaneous, or a little bit of both?
I would say it's both. Yeah, it's because obviously you need to know what you want before you do it and enact it, right? So I know what I want to do and what I want to compete and how I want to compete, right? The smiling, the fun, I think that just speaks again. I kind of said like being hypocritical. If I went out there and just like threw a wingding after I lost, it'd be like, well, hold on, like you are not lining up with everything you just said there. Like that's, you know what I mean? And so if I did that, that wouldn't really line up. So it's, like I said, being the man that I want to be and going out there and having fun and enjoying it. Is there a couple things that it's skillful? Yeah, it's definitely a skill to be able to be in hard times and have that adversity, grit, and ability to overcome adversity. But yeah, I think like you said, it speaks a testament to maybe who I am and what I want to be. And I think that is everything about being a good man and being more than just a wrestler. I don't need to just be a tough guy. I am tough. I don't need to act tough. I don't need to look tough. I can have fun, and I know I'm tough.
Right. Right. Yeah. A lot of people might think they have to appear tough in order to be tough, but that's just simply not the case. It's something you know deep down. Is there anything specific that you do for your mindset to improve in terms of building confidence, relaxing under pressure, dealing with negative thoughts that, pretty much every wrestler goes through? You look at people might look at someone like you, say, oh, he never feels any kind of doubts or worries or anything, but we know everyone's human. So it's, how do we all deal with this? How do we all manage that?
Yeah. I think you might have heard this lately, like, right, the definition of discipline. It's not always being happy and wanting to go do it. It's doing it when you don't want to do it. And that's discipline. And so I think that's kind of like insight to what you just said. I think it's, hard times are going to happen. But you get to choose, right? That's an external, is that things are going to happen. And you're talking about God, and we're talking about being a Christian and faith. God is going to, or whatever you believe in, for that case, the universe, they're going to put things in your way to make you the best version of yourself. And so to think that adversity is not going to hit is just wrong, right? It's fallacy. It's just not going to happen. So it's remaining optimistic and joyful, and just keep trying to push through whatever it is, right? Like how I'm speaking right now, it seems like maybe I won the NCAAs, right? It's like, no, like I didn't win, but that's not going to change my outlook on wrestling, or how much fun I have, or the man that I am, or everything else, the child of God that I am, everything. Like that's not going to change that. And so how do I keep, maybe you said the mindset thing. I really enjoy doing like little independent studies and talking with the great men and women around me, that including my parents. And I'm so lucky to have come from very, very highly intellectual parents, and very optimistic parents in that as well. And reading books, and listening to podcasts, and watching documentaries, and consulting with specialists in their field, and just getting very down into the crux of all these things that we're talking about. So I don't just see it and regurgitate it. No, I believe it. I internalize it. It's real.
Right. You live it. Exactly. And now talk about the Big Ten's, NCAAs. How did you feel like you performed? What were maybe some of your favorite matches you felt like you were at your best? Things you liked, things you didn't like?
It was all good, because obviously not liking something it's fine, but it would be like everything that happened and that needed to happen happened. Okay. So honestly, it was just a very cool experience. I needed to learn all the lessons that happened. And I think at the end of the day, I sit here and I can say that my wrestling is a direct reflection of who I am as a man, but who I am as a man is not a direct reflection of wrestling. So, and I think that just speaks volumes to the last 5 or 6 months of the season, and that flew by because I enjoyed it. And I don't think a lot of people can say that in their respective seasons in their states, and not even just in college. I'm talking about high school. Like I've only ever had one season where the hours and the days just felt like, oh man, they felt like years. And I'm never doing that again. And I've learned from that time. And I really urge people to, I want to help people understand that it doesn't need to be a dark tunnel to the end of the season, or to the state championship, or to the NCAAs, or to the Olympics, or whatever it is. It doesn't need to be a dark tunnel. Focus on your life. And then, like I said, then wrestling can be the reflection. You're not a reflection of your wrestling. Okay. So I think that's really cool. And I think that that's kind of sums up my season, and that it's fun. And like I said, I'm always in season. This is fun. This is what I love to do. And so, just keep going.
Absolutely. Now talk about your approach towards the Olympic trials now. Obviously, and you're competing against people that you see all the time in the room and maybe are wrestling with, or maybe you're not wrestling with. I don't know. What's your mentality going into there? Expectations for yourself? Just thoughts?
Yeah. Fun. That's what I'm focused on, why else would you do it? And just going out there and getting a scrap with grown men that have families and are, older guys, that excites me. And I really love doing that. I've always loved doing that. But also understanding that one day that's going to be me. And so there doesn't need to be, I don't put my value in that either, because one day that's going to be me, and I'm not going to have to throw a wing ding when I'm maybe 30 and maybe I lose to a younger guy. It doesn't matter. Right. But I'm excited. It's cool to be here, be around the best people, like I said, best coaches, best wrestlers, best teammates. And 74 kg is, it's stacked. It's good. But again, that's just more excitement and more fun. I'm pumped to be able to go to battle with these guys that have been in the sport for a very long time, or maybe are the same age as me. And I think it's really, really cool. And I'm really excited and grateful for the opportunity.
Awesome. All right. If you could, a few fun questions. If you could snap your fingers and add one wrestling move to your repertoire, what would it be?
This is going to sound kind of arrogant. I feel like I can already do that, so I don't need to wish. I don't need to wish. I don't know. I guess I'm adding things that I always want to. I'm sorry. That's not that good of an answer, but that's my answer.
Okay. Favorite cereal?
I really like Lucky Charms. I think those are good.
That's good. And I think my brother would say that as well. Awesome. All right. And finally, shake your tail feather or shake it like a Polaroid picture. Those songs might be a little bit old for you.
No. Polaroid pictures. That's my favorite. That I would say out of those two songs, that one would be my favorite song.
Awesome. Yeah. Mitchell Mesenbrink, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll see you at the trials. We'll be over there. My nephews too.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye.